of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You have your minutes before you. I'd entertain a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
I'll second it.
Thank you. We have a motion, a second. Any changes or discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. We also have an agenda that was presented.
Motion to approve agenda.
I'll second it.
Thank you. We have a motion, a second, to approve the agenda. Any changes, additions, or discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to the favorite part of our meeting, the celebrations and school community reports. This evening we have a presentation from Louise Osley, who is the Fairmont Area Schools Teacher of the Year. Yep, up there.
I'm Louise Osley. I teach science up at the high school. I was chosen as Fairmont's Teacher of the Year this year. So when I sent in my application to the state, I had to write an essay, and my essay was on teacher retention, because I feel that's going to be a tough thing to keep in the future. I think we've been pretty lucky here in the district, where we've had several teachers here who have been here multiple years, if not decades. I also had to fill out like my past history of teaching and what I've taught and grade levels and things like that. And then I also had to have a couple reference letters done. Mr. Trado did one for me, Mrs. Green did one for me. The person who nominated me, Melissa Smith, did one. I had a former student do one, and I had another teacher who was I mentored a few years ago at the high school. So those were all sent in. It's been a surprise. I was never expecting that, but it was a good surprise. So I enjoyed it.
So in your teaching experience over these many years, what's one of the most remarkable changes that you've seen, or obvious changes to you?
Pre-COVID or post-COVID?
Oh boy, that's a big marker, isn't it? How about both?
I would say, technology probably has been the biggest change. And I have to say, it does take time to get used to it, but I do like the technology I have in my room, my smart TV, the sensors I have to collect data and stuff like that. That's been really nice because you can collect things so fast in real time.
And that's important. You're a chemistry and a physics teacher, and so there's a lot of data collection in your
there
classroom.
is. And so, when you can collect it in that short amount of time, it just makes it so much easier to get results and then to move forward. So it's probably that technology.
Great.
Any other questions?
So 19 years in the school district, correct?
18.
18 years in the school district. And I will just say with you, Louise, I've had the privilege of being a colleague in the science department.
Right. Yep.
With you, as well as working alongside of you as an administrator and now in the role of superintendent.
Mm-hmm.
So our paths almost synonymously came into the district at the same time. I was a year or two after you, but it's been very positive experience, working with you in those realms. And just want to say, on behalf of the board and our district, thank you for your years of service and your continued commitment to Fairmont Area Schools. You bring a unique skill set with your expertise and ability to teach the classes that you do, and we're very, very grateful for that, as our students should be too, because you offer them opportunities because of those assets that they can't get at a lot of other schools. So that's a very, very positive thing. So thank you for doing the schooling to have that accreditation, as well as providing those experiences for our kids.
And one other thing I would say, as a teacher, you don't have the skill set the day you walk in.
Right.
It takes time to polish that and get things. And you know what? And you have to change, because times change, like technology changed. COVID caused changes.
Yep.
So adapt, I guess.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, and congratulations.
Thank you. Congratulations.
We've got a copy of the essay on teacher retention, right? So we can use that. Make sure Andy gets one.
Thank you, Mrs. Osley. Moving on to our superintendent's report and calendar.
Thanks, Nicole. As you've seen in the report, the copy that's provided to you, our enrollment report remains stable. We're up a few students from where we were at our last board meeting. We're currently at 1,700 students. A year ago, we were at 1,729. So relatively stable throughout this year. We hit a high of 1713 back in October. Our low in the month of March was 1690. So we are approximately 30 students down from where we were a year ago. One of the things that we had a lot of great reports at last meeting, so I tabled one thing that I want to make sure we cover here tonight. As Jessica and I continue to work alongside each other, just looking at our current budget for this current fiscal year, as well as some things we're looking at for our FY or fiscal year 25 budget, which is not this current school year, but the upcoming one. As we go through our processes of analyzing student enrollment, looking at our revenues and expenditures, we're always very mindful of, maintaining the opportunities that we have for our kids. And one of the things, knowing our federal ESSER funds, or sometimes referred to as our COVID dollars, will be expiring here in 5 months. Over the last 2 years, we've actually made some strategic decisions to prepare for the expiration of those funds and that stream of revenue no longer being there. In our fiscal year 23, which was last school year, we intentionally reduced our expenditures by approximately $600,000 as a school district. Coming into this current school year, our 2024 budget reduced our expenditures by an additional $700,000. And we're, a few months away from finalizing that budget to see, check on the accuracy of that. So this is all a direct result of knowing that those ESSER funds are going to expire in September of 24. Also, having consecutive years of deficit spending, much that was planned for, but nonetheless, we've deficit spent as a district, as well as our current status of slightly decreased enrollment. So all that together, we were positive in terms of the fact that we've made some gradual strategic decisions rather than having to make those adjustments all at once. Coming into the school year, we did have the state legislature provided additional funding to a level that we haven't seen before in education, that resulted in 4% increase on our per pupil formula for the current year, as well as an additional 2% in the subsequent year. Additionally, we got increases to the cross-subsidy aid factors, as well as funding for specified areas. We're very appreciative of all that, and one thing that we're learning along the way is one result of that is our categorical expenditures, the money available has increased. So what that means is our areas where the state puts parameters and restrictions on. As a result, our percentage of discretionary funds has decreased. So we've received more funds with less flexibility as a local control in how we use those funds. So with making those strategic things and reducing some expenditures, again, we did that strategically. We'll continue to monitor our student enrollment. Very grateful that we've been able to maintain the vast majority of the programming that we've had, because ultimately our kids and our students are why we're here, and we want to make sure that we're providing the best possible education for our students, the best possible environment for our students and staff, and the best possible outcome for our community in the future of our area as well. So those are some important things to consider. With that, at our second May board meeting, we will plan a work session for that evening where we will go over some of our final pieces of the current fiscal year budget, as well as a preliminary budget for FY25. And also we'll review some of our strategic planning components with our operational plan in our focal areas for the 24-25 school year. So that'll be coming up. That would be, again, not the May 14th meeting, but the May 28th meeting that we will have that work session. Just a couple other reminders. I mentioned at our last meeting, we will be starting the process of doing a comprehensive facility needs assessment. Hasn't been done in quite some time. Director of Buildings and Grounds, Tyler Garrison, and I have a meeting scheduled with an outside entity for next Wednesday morning to take some initial steps with that. And then again, we announced it at our last meeting, but our annual Cardinals Give Back Service Day has been postponed from the month of May to next fall. So with that, that concludes my report.
Thank you. Any questions for Superintendent Treadell? All right, thank you. We will move on to financial business. Jessica?
Yes, so you should have the wire and transfer sheet in front of you. It's a short one again, from March 8th to April 17th. And then we also have the bills for tonight. Just a few items to note on the bills is we do have the final closeout payment in here for Nielsen Blacktopping for the athletic field entrance. So that project is coming to a close. And then I don't know if you noticed, we do have a couple of items on here for different homeless supplies, hotel payments, and part of that is due to our ESSER funds. We received homeless funds for that, working with social workers, and then we also received Title I funds that are to be set aside directly for homeless supplies and things. So if you've seen those in there, those are what those are related to. Do you have any other questions?
If there are no other questions, I'll offer a motion to approve the wire transfers from March 8th, 2024 to April 17th, 2024, and payment of the April 23rd, 2024 bills.
I'll second it. I think we have a motion and a second to approve the bills as presented. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Personnel. We have resignations.
I think we
Don't we
have
have student
new
worker
business
wages?
first.
Oh, yes, sorry. New business. We have student worker hourly rate increase. And Dan is not here. Would someone else like to take that?
I was at the meeting.
Thank you.
Talk about this operation. So I'll make a motion that we increase the hourly rate of pay for our student workers from $13 an hour to $15 an hour effective June 1st, 2024.
I'll second it. I think we have a motion and a second to increase the pay for our student workers from $13 an hour to $15 an hour. Any discussion?
Just to let folks know, we talked about this at operations, I think once or twice, based on what other job opportunity situations are in the marketplace. We felt that, and Tyler agreed, that if we $15 an hour is a more market rate for what's going for those labor services, and so that's where we
How many students do we look at hiring through the summer?
I believe historically he's hired 2 at each building.
2 at each building.
Sometimes it's been college graduates that are
Sure.
past students. Sometimes
Sure.
they've been, typically those are the students we get, are older high school students that do some of that custodial work in the
Sure.
summer.
Okay, thank you.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Motion carries. Personnel resignations.
I'll think I'd take that one. We have 4 resignations that we need to accept. I would make a motion that we accept the resignation of the following individuals. Number 1, Tanya Peterson, who is a high school paraprofessional with an effective date of April 19th, 2024. Number 2, Jennifer York, an elementary school paraprofessional with an effective date of May 3rd, 2024. Number 3, Emily Fett, the high school nurse with an effective date of June 5, 2024. Number 4, Ashley Olson, an elementary 4th grade teacher with an effective date of June 5, 2024.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion by Mike, second by Julie, to accept those resignations. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, moving on to employment. Mari?
Principals Bresky and Schultz have recommended 2 hirings. The first is Andy Garcia, high school social studies teacher, salary BA Step 1, effective August 26, 2024. Keegan Titus, high school math teacher, salary of BA Step 2, effective August 26, 2024.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion by Mari and a second by Mike. Any discussion?
I thought we usually hired them effective the beginning of the fiscal year, July. Something to do with, have we not in the past, or is there something changed?
No, that was an adjustment made several years ago. We did that, and one thing that we found when we were doing that, it was creating some challenges in how we distribute our insurance premiums from a district contribution standpoint.
Oh,
So we're currently in the process of remedying that for our staff. That is covered under the district's health insurance. In the effective date of August 26th, that's the first teacher workshop date. And then their first pay period is September, so everyone then ends up on the same pay period with district contributions and everything. And then at the end of employment, it carries through synonymously, and they don't have the gap, whether it's retirement, taking a job outside the
Sure.
district. Then there's not that July 1, if they were to go to another school district, there's that gap there in essence. So
see.
Jessica, did I articulate that correctly? She's worked extensively on this as well, so.
Yep, that's correct.
Thank you, Julie.
I
Any
just know
further?
that we had changed, because we used to do it this way, then we
Yep.
went to doing it that way, and I wasn't notified, or, usually we discuss that,
Okay,
and so it was something I wasn't aware of, so,
okay.
thank you.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Board and committee reports. Mari, CER Advisory Council meeting?
We met on April 11th. Going forward, this summer digital brochure is online. We're looking at ways to check the tracking of that versus paper copies. Of course, it makes a difference because of the sports, summer football or t-ball and football coaches and stuff. So Stephanie's looking into that. Summer registration is open for summer activities and as well as Cardinal Prime in the fall. They do have a t-ball and a flag football coordinator, but they still need coaches. CER is able to offer adult basic education, GED classes, and EL will run through July. And something I didn't know, there are some fun yard games that you can check out if you're having a get-together this summer for the weekend or during the week. And our meetings are always the second Thursday of the month at noon.
Mari, are those rentals, are they free rentals?
Yes, you can just check them out.
They just check them out. Okay, that's good to know.
And also the miniature golf,
Oh, yeah,
that's, you can get those, I believe, through CR as
Yeah,
well.
the golf clubs.
And isn't the roller skating, do we still do the roller skating in the gyms? We probably won't be this year because we're doing some work on our gym floors, but,
I think they've scheduled it periodically, but I
Okay.
don't know what the plans are for this summer.
I looked at the brochure and I can't say that I saw that on there.
I didn't
but-
see it, but I didn't look at it that closely, so.
Any other questions? All right, Jen is not here. I can report on policy. We met and we went over the school board policies to make sure that we as a board are following our own policies and state law, and we determined we are.
Yeah,
Relief,
the
isn't it?
most important one was the name of the school district.
Yeah.
I didn't even have an idea that was even a policy that
Yeah,
that was,
it
but
is.
we do have one that's,
Yep.
we have the right name, so.
And so there was minor changes, like a law, the reference for the law number might have changed, so there's nothing that we need to bring to the board. But if you would like to review those yourself, you can look online on the district's website. Under the school board, there's a policy section, and you can look at all of the policies for our district and see the ones that we reviewed most recently with regards to our own board. Southern Plains Board meeting, Julie?
Yes, we met last night. Had a short meeting. Actually, it was the shortest one I've been to with Southern Plains. It was only about 20 minutes, which we just did approving the bills, resignation, retirements, resignations, hiring, approved a leave of absence, pay equity a report, and was an unrequested leave of absence, and that was basically it for the meeting. Our next meeting will be May 20th. And then we closed the meeting and then opened work session. And we had Ray Queener who presented to us. We had done, Dennis Cheeseborough had led us, I didn't remember how many years, it was when we moved to the Southern Plains, went to Winnebago, and we had a meeting and kind of like reviewed what our duties and how we run our meetings and how that Southern Plains is different versus the school district as well, versus the school district running a meeting versus city council or any of the other governmental agencies. And so last night was kind of a review for that, and we got in some really good discussion with that. And so that was led by Teamworks, in which you guys remember we had Teamworks work with us on our plan for our district as well. So Ray was, excuse me, Ray was there as well. So it was a good meeting.
Thank you, Julie. Any questions for Julie? All right, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you, Mike. Do we have a second? Oh, y'all want to stay here? I'll second it.
I did.
Oh, you
Sorry.
did? I didn't hear you, Mari.
Sorry.
Motion by Mike, second by Mari.
I don't hear that very often.
All
I
the-
didn't hear you, Mari.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Motion carries. Meeting adjourned.